Welcome to the French Drainman channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood. I'm going to teach you about catch basins. I'm going to teach you about the different size lines that you can use in yard drainage. I'm going to show you some tricks. I'm going to show you some tips. All right, so the catch basins. If you go female to female, you're going to be level. If you go female and you drop down to this offset male, so you see this pipe is lower than the entry pipe. This increases your flow. This picks up your flow rate. It's part of the magic when you do a system the right way versus the wrong way. Why do so many guys just go with a big 4-inch system? Because they don't do all the little things. I like to run a lot of water through a smaller diameter pipe. They don't clog, they stay clean. Real quick, I just wanted to do an overview. This is a 3-inch T fitting for corrugated 3-inch pipe. This is a 3.5. Quite a difference. So there's 36% more area in a 3.5 than there is in a 3. So that's a big jump up. Not double, but 36% greater area. You don't get bumped out of this in yard drainage. We get bumped out of this 3-inch too quick in yard drainage. We ran it a lot for many, many years. Low flow applications all day long. A 2x3 downspout, so happy on a 3-inch line. Never clogs. But what's nice about the 3.5 is you can tie downspouts together. I've seen 3 2x3s tied into a 3.5. Maxed out, run great, keeps the line nice and clean, no problems. 2 3x4 downspouts, that's what I'm talking about. This is a really versatile pipe. We're finding that the 3.5 fits in 80% of all applications in yard drainage. We go up to the 4-inch when we need a discharge line where we're feeding the whole house, roof runoff, or we got a French drain and a yard drain, and they end up on one discharge line. Now, you can run 2 3.5-inch pipe discharge lines, and we do that as well. To show you what that pipe looks like, here it is in perforated, here it is in solid. This is a 3.5 in white. Now, I tell people for its surface area, there is more inlet on the 3.5-inch pipe than there is the 4. Let me explain. We have the same 8-slot cutter for the 3.5 as we do the 4. The 4-inch has more area. It's a larger diameter pipe, but it has the same inlet. You have more inlet per square inch of surface area on this pipe. What the guys are doing now for French drains, they're going to 3.5, and they're putting more pipe in the trench, but they're getting more inlet. There's more ventilation. There's more air. It's working out great. Contractors all over the country have switched to 3.5 for their French drains. Again, discharge lines, you can either do a double solid 3.5 when you're starting to run a lot of branch lines together, or you can just go to one trunk line in 4-inch. But the 4-inch is about 50% more work. Literally, a 3.5-inch line fits between sprinkler lines. Also fits, through all the utilities. As installers, I can tell you this. It's literally 50% less excavation, less dig. Do the math. It's there. So a corrugated pipe in 4-inch is 4 3/4 inches outside diameter. That's a really big circumference when you're trying to pull that underground through your yard. This 4-inch pipe gets homeowners in a lot of trouble. I strongly recommend that homeowners stay with the 3.5. It's perfectly capable for yard drainage. It's not going to get you in any trouble. It's going to make your install a lot easier. So these catch basins, this female coupler, it keeps you on center. And you could have a female coupler in, and you can have a female coupler out if you want to stay level. Now, if you want to increase your flow, you use the female in, and you go to the offset step down. Again, you can see where the female put you on center, and then right here, this offset drops you down. Really nice. You pick up the flow rate, what you see for numbers and how that increases your flow rate. It's absolutely insane. So again, this is what we do. You can do it on the single, by the way, too. So I have a couple of singles here as we talk about catch basins. Female in, male out. We're going to drop that down a little bit. We're going to increase our flow. Now, as you go down the line, you are going to get deeper. And you have 2, 3, maybe 4 catch basins. So the first one gets set in with no riser. The second one gets set in with a riser, just slips on. The third one has 2 risers. These are 1.5 inches. So as you're going deeper, look at that. Slip fit, watertight, no screws, no glue, nothing. Now this ring, when you backfill, the dirt is going to be on this ring. So they never come off. It's easy, it's effective, and it's super strong. It's HDPE, it's not PVC. This is the same thing that Tupperware is made out of. It's the safest plastic there is. This is what food containers are made out of. It's very pliable, so when your lawnmowers run over it, it flexes. The lawnmowers can't crack it. There's a lot of broken catch basins in yards, and it's because they don't make them out of virgin HDPE at all. There's mostly styrene. Styrene is a very popular catch basin material. It's very brittle, and it cracks. So I just want to keep all that in mind as you make these decisions, what to use. So you can have a solid line on this and a perforated line on this. You could be running a French drain and your downspouts, have a nice clean out access, come out. You could cap this off and you could put a coupler on here for 4-inch and run a 4-inch, discharge line when you have 2, 3.5s that you feel are maxed out. I'm just giving you all the possibilities. This stuff is adult Legos. We put it in the ground. So we make sure it goes together quick, fast. Time is money, contractors and homeowners. Let me tell you this. I've struggled in muddy trenches in the middle of, it could be winter, it could be hailing, it could be, I've been in trenches in the worst conditions with parts that don't work. We decided to start making our own parts. We want it strong. We want it built to last and stand a test of time. And we want it to go together like it was meant to go together. Like these parts all fit. The quality control in what it is we're building is second to none. Now, these aren't car fasteners. We actually have a tool that makes it's similar to a car fastener, but this here is not sharp. It's rounded. It's soft. This is really short, so when you push it through, it doesn't really stick that far into the catch basin. We have these fasteners for all of our connections. Glue dries and it's brittle and it cracks. That's what happens in yard drainage. When you fasten them with fasteners, you're all set. If you want to put PVC tape on here, now you got a watertight seal. Some people will put silicone on this and slip it on and then fasten it, and they'll build these a night ahead of time so that that's watertight and you don't have to put any tape here if you go ahead and silicone this up and slip it on. My guys, they'll tile tape here, they'll tile tape here, done. You guys see the videos, we show all that. But right here you can see that line, and then you see it step down. I can't emphasize enough what that does for water flow. You want to up your flow rate with catch basins, that's how you do it. So we really are no longer using 3-inch. I'm just coming clean. And the truth be told, when our 3-inch pipe is out in our yard, we no longer will sell it. The 3.5-inch pipe fits 80% all yard drain scenarios. What happens when you have too big a pipe like the 4-inch, not only are you going to struggle to try to pull that through sprinkler lines and utilities and get that through areas where there might be some tree roots, and now you got to chop out more tree roots with an axe, and the job becomes so much more. What happens is when the water hits this pipe, when it hits a 4-inch pipe, the area is so great for low flow applications that the water just spreads over this bigger area and it mellows out. And now it can't carry sediment away. In the 3.5, the water, I'm telling you, for yard drains, the numbers don't lie, people. The 3.5-inch pipe is the way to go for 80% of the drains. The amount of water you typically flow is going to keep up its water pressure. It's not going to slow down and spread over this large area like in a 4-inch pipe. So if you size everything right, it's going to stay clean. DIYers, this pipe pulls so easy. So there's a reason why we made it. We wanted that pipe really, really bad. Imagine doing this for a living for decades and this being your options. You get bumped out of the 3-inch pipe so quick and you have no choice. There was nothing else. And we've been saying it for years. I know it sounds petty. Oh, you got a 3-inch and you got a 4-inch. You really needed a 3.5? I mean, when you compare them, you can see the difference. The difference is huge in yard drainage. Not in road construction, not in farm ag, for yard drainage. The difference is huge. Most of the numbers are in the 3.5-inch pipe. When you run the calculations, and most homeowners don't want to do all the calculations, and I'm not going to make this channel about that. I've done some videos on calculating rooftop water and things like that, but they typically don't get many views. People are like, hey, give us a kit that works. Tell us what's kind of the do-all, the 3.5. The 3.5-inch pipe is your do-all, you know, in closing. We love it, and it's what my guys use mostly. Again, there's really no longer in yard drainage a need for 3-inch. I kind of feel this is going to become obsolete now. There's been a lot of talk about it. There's been quite a bit of talk about it. So everybody's transitioning to this 3.5 now. It just makes more sense. You don't get bumped out of it as quick, and it's right there. You know, where most flow, when you look at the calculations and the flow rates and the kind of water you need to move and the kind of water you're going to be trying to capture and channel away from the home, the 3.5 is ideal. All right, everybody. I hope you learned something. Oh yeah, another helpful tip. So these gaskets, when you're doing dry wells, we build a lot of dry wells to leach fields. You guys see all our videos. So this is for PVC to a dry well that's made out of a dual wall culvert pipe. We do a ton of them. Got a lot of video on it. A lot of people buy these. We have them in our online store. The 3.5, because of its outside diameter being exactly what a PVC pipe is, slips right in. So the guys are all using them. Our crew's using them. This is sweet. This is a really nice fit. It was like it was meant to be. All right, everybody, keep putting those questions in those comments. I make videos based on comments, guys. So I just answered probably about a dozen comments that came in the past day or two. If you guys got more comments regarding the 3.5-inch pipe, catch basins, whatever it may be, fire away. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.